Welcome to part 2 of my Innovation and Technology in Accounting presentation. In part 1, I discussed how I implemented outsourcing into my accounting practice. Admittedly, there were some trial and error moments, setbacks, and victories. I made a quantum leap forward once I decided to wholeheartedly embrace Abacus Solutions as an outsourcing provider and gave up on trying to build my own local outsourcing solution. Once I had fully implemented Abaca, the real challenge became finding enough of the right work to keep Abaca and my staff occupied. I had to re examine how I had grown in the past and discover new ways to find new prospects and convert them to clients. I am selective when it comes to new clients, so I had to make sure that I had access to a large enough pool to allow me to maintain my standards without running out of client prospects. My biggest challenge with Abaca has been keeping work in my funnel. I've actually run out of compliance work 3 times in the past year. The good news is that this has given me time to pursue consulting projects and to build my compliance base. You might find it unusual that I would include networking and marketing in a presentation on innovation and technology in accounting. However, if we are all honest with ourselves, I am sure that we will all admit to a certain level of discomfort in this area. If you are completely comfortable discussing your practice with a new acquaintance and asking for their business, you can skip this section entirely. I will proceed for the rest of us. I believe that this section belongs, as deliberate marketing is a bit radical within my peer group. Most either avoid it completely or do it as a last resort. I know several accountants that firmly believe that there is a shortage of good clients out there, and they just accept whoever they can find. A friend of mine has a running joke. He will take on a new client if they can fog a mirror and their first check clears. I dare say that most small to medium-sized firms rely heavily on the power of referrals, as it is hard to compete with the marketing budgets of the larger firms to attract cold prospects. I firmly believe that networking is the great equalizer, so I have integrated it into my practice. Again, I am by no means an expert in the area of networking and marketing. As a sole practitioner, I quickly learned that my ability to build trust and rapport with my clients determined the volume and quality of referrals that they brought to me. The accountant in me wanted a consistent system that would generate predictable results. I am the first to admit that I was not the person to develop this system. I liked the relative anonymity that my office afforded. I was the expert to my small group of clients. I changed my philosophy when I was introduced to Bob Burg's book, Endless Referrals. Mr. Berg had an interesting concept, wherein we could mutually benefit by networking with a purpose. Mr. Berg shares his proven relationship building principles in this great book. I have it on my must-read list for my consulting clients and can't recommend it enough. I will be the first in line if Mr. Berg ever comes to Calgary for a speaking engagement. Through Endless Referrals, I learned a few things that I was doing sporadically that would make significant changes to my growth if I applied them consistently. My personal favorite has been to create networking opportunities for my clients and contacts. I have a growing database of people who are willing to assist me should I need an introduction. Why? Very simple. I've helped them grow by providing timely introductions. For example, I have several clients in the construction industry. I put them all in one room and made a point of introducing them to one another. I had a few that embraced the concept and made a concerted effort to connect with key players in their industry. These individuals saw significant growth in their businesses and have given me full credit for this growth. I point out that I provided the introduction, they followed up and made it work for them. These events inspire a lot of loyalty from my clients, and they now bring along their business associates to my events. Through this experience, I realized that even competitors could become future business partners. I personally applied this to my own practice by reaching out to other accountants. I've built relationships with local accounting firms with great success by deliberate relationship building. I know accountants that are having trouble finding good compliance clients. Their biggest challenge is that their own client base is aging and shrinking through attrition. Clients are either moving, going out of business, or passing away. The accountants know how to service clients, but do not know how to find them. I happily introduce these accountants to compliance clients because I know that the accountants will reciprocate by introducing me to consulting clients. I did not initially think this would work, but have since learned that the accountants are happy to introduce me to provide services that are beyond their own personal comfort level. How do I do this personally? Well, I host joint presentations with other accountants. I provide the topic and facility for these events. Both I and the accountant looking to grow send out invitations to our databases. During the presentation, I make a point of introducing my co-host, and I have them talk about their area of specialty or interest. I also make a point of explaining the distinction between what services we offer. The end result is that the attendees find an accountant and business advisor in one session. The co-hosts both benefit by increased business. Admittedly, I lose out slightly by sharing the compliance work, but I benefit by having broader exposure to consulting prospects. I've recently expanded this concept with significant results. It was intentional, but first I had to find the right venue for this to work. I found BNI, which is Business Networking International, to be an excellent platform from which to launch the next generation of networking events wrapped around educational seminars. BNI is an international group of business owners who have embraced networking. I joined the group because I found them to be highly organized and deliberate in their efforts to assist one another. Through this group, I've met professionals that have similar client profiles to what I wanted. Specifically, this group includes insurance agents, lawyers, bankers, and investment advisors. I've reached out to several of these, and we are now starting to host events that include their client lists. We brand the event as a customer appreciation event for the host. Myself and guest accountants then present a topic of interest to business owners. I have two personal favorite presentations, one that talks about the importance of systems and processes in business, and another that addresses ways to grow. During a recent event, I'd invited another accountant to participate. The accountant dropped out at the last minute, and I can say that it cost them several new clients. We had a total of 20 participants. 8 became new compliance clients for me, and 5 became consulting clients. The 8 compliance clients would have gone to my co-host if they had been present. An added bonus of these presentations is that I am able to introduce business owners to one another, and they are able to build their own networks. I really enjoy these events. Through BNI, I am refining my networking skills and am learning how to reach my prospects in bulk rather than one-on-one. BNI has great processes in place to ensure maximum efficiency and have made networking something that can be monitored for results. I will warn you, BNI generally requires a bit of a time commitment. Personally, I spend 3 to 4 hours per week on BNI specific networking. 90 minutes are in our formal meeting, and the rest of my time is spent meeting one-on-one with other members. BNI restricts group membership to one person from any given professional group, so only one accountant is allowed per group. If you can make it to one of their events, it will be well worth your time. The level of effort that you put in will be reflected in your end results. Personally, I received referrals in my first week that were large enough to cover my membership fees for a year. I've since taken in enough new work to cover my membership fees for a decade. My results are not unusual, and BNI have tracked the numbers so they can prove it. One thing I will tell you is that I do not personally write all of my presentations. I will discuss this in more detail later, but I found Ran One International. Ran One provides an excellent series of marketing materials and presentations that can be licensed and branded. My biggest challenge is filling a room. If I can fill a room, I can almost guarantee to find enough work to justify my time spent on the presentation. Another tool that I've found useful comes from 2020 Canada. They offer a successful business kit that their members can license and use for marketing. It is a great shortcut. You can create a customized booklet that can be shared with your clients. Clients love it, and it solidifies your stature as the expert that they need for their business needs. Social media is an emerging area worth studying. I take it as a given that any professional services firm needs and has a well-designed website. If nothing else, you can use it to post your office hours and your location. For the more advanced, you can use it to interact with your clients and attract new clients. A website is now considered a sign of legitimacy. If you don't have one, you are reducing your chances of attracting new clients. I am currently working on 2 new websites. One is businessinsightcanada.ca and the other is cpapracticeadvisor.ca. At this very moment, they are a primitive template that will evolve over time. I am personally working on these sites as I want to build a platform that meets very specific criteria. I believe that a website, even when under construction, is better than no website. When I build one, I like to get something up and then develop it as I receive user feedback. I do not recommend that you spend your professional time learning to design a website. There are many great service providers out there, and I would leave it to them. For me, this is a hobby and a future growth area for consulting, how to build a better online business. My goal is to be the quarterback that assembles the necessary team to help my clients build their business online. Having accepted websites as a business standard, you may be surprised to learn that social media is a concept that I initially struggled with as a tool for a professional firm. Why? I am extremely open to advances in technology, but I struggled because I could not envision a scenario where I would be willing to tweet something that took 140 characters or less. And yes, the term tweet did not help me take it seriously. I will discuss specific social media channels shortly. For the moment, my definition of social media is a group of internet-based applications that allow users to build a virtual community. The key concept is that information can be disseminated rapidly, however, the quality is lower than one would find in a traditional media source. I have come around and am now looking at ways to expand my practice through social media. The biggest strength I found was in promoting events and reminding people to attend. I am currently building a concept that would allow accounting firms to automatically remind clients of upcoming deadlines. I call it the illusion of constant concern. You can automate certain things, which in turn makes clients believe that you are constantly watching over them. In the early days of my career, we would personally telephone clients to remind them to bring in their information. Now we can set reminders based on their year end, and our system will automatically send an email or generate a letter to remind them. The clients feel cared for, and you have eliminated a mundane task that can be very time-consuming. As I've said before, I'm not an expert on social media. However, I am now implementing it into my practice. I will be expanding this area of my presentation in future seminars. The focus will be on my experiences and what I have personally learned. It will not be intended as a step-by-step how-to implementation. I will leave that to the experts. Instead, I will explain what I am doing and how I arrived at the conclusions that made sense to me. I am sure most of you are familiar with LinkedIn. I've had an account for a couple of years now and admit that it is not always current. I'm a bad LinkedIn user. I approach it occasionally and sporadically with enthusiasm, then get distracted and neglect it for a while. Recently, I attended a seminar that showed me the error of my ways. The key to LinkedIn, and any social media for that matter, is consistency. The seminar instructor explained that he searches LinkedIn for people that he would like to meet. He then searches his contact list to find someone in the list that can connect him to his target. It is amazing how frequently he knows someone through only one or two connections. The interesting thing is that the introduction online now seems to bear the same weight as an in-person introduction not that long ago. The seminar instructor is able to quickly build his network without leaving the comfort of his own office. As he puts it, the important thing with LinkedIn is follow-up. Once introduced, he immediately welcomes his new prospects into his sales process, and he ensures that the introduction is not wasted. Twitter was my first stumbling block with technology in recent memory. I could not wrap my head around any form of communication that consisted of a mere 140 characters. Truth be told, I am also not a fan of texting. I would rather speak on the phone or receive an email. Twitter is less commonly used in a professional setting, but acceptance is growing. My main issue with Twitter was finding a context that made sense for me. That context came at a conference that I attended in San Diego in late 2011. One of the keynote speakers mentioned that she had recently hosted a client awareness event. To spread the word, she created a website specific for the event, and then she implemented a social media campaign to spread the word. She used Twitter to send out the invitations to her many followers with a short link to her website. She credits Twitter with single-handedly filling the event within 24 hours. Her initial hope for the event was to fill a room with 30 clients, with the expectation that these clients would bring along 30 new prospects for her to meet. Through the Twitter announcement, she actually brought in 60 new prospects directly, and she ended up hosting a second event specifically for her clients. For those of you that are not looking to fill rooms with prospects, can Twitter still add value? Absolutely. I now use Twitter for any communication that we need to send to clients. For example, we can use social media to announce new employees, changes in the firm, annual federal budget updates, and to announce firm accomplishments and awards. Again, this allows us to expand our reach and be in the minds of our prospects. I'm now finding it very common for new prospects to know me by my picture from LinkedIn or Twitter. I can accept that most of you will have no interest in becoming social media experts. I can relate completely. For my first experiment, I hired local university students and put them to work creating social content for me. I shut this experiment down quickly as they were extremely successful in finding new prospects. The challenge was that the prospects were not filtered in any way. I received over 600 emails in one day alone asking for accounting and business advice. Of those 600, only one was in my local market. The remainder were overseas investors looking for free advice while they contemplated entering the Canadian business market. A few were university students looking for a free perspective to include in their course projects. All in all, it wasted a lot of our time filtering through leads. When I revisited the social media concept, my first criteria was that we needed something that could be focused and automated. I was very happy to find The Profitable Firm. Their founders have all worked specifically with accounting firms and have a unique perspective on how to market accounting services. I am impressed with their knowledge and their focus. They offer a no-obligation diagnostic to get you started, looking at where you currently stand with your online presence and where you want to be. The Profitable Firm team brings expertise in a product called Infusionsoft to the table. Thus far, I've only seen product demonstrations. However, with the right implementation team, I believe that Infusionsoft will revolutionize how we interact with clients and stay in touch. There are cheaper and even free options that offer some of the features in Infusionsoft. I can tell you that you will waste a lot of time cobbling together similar solutions that meet most of the needs, not all, addressed by Infusionsoft. I find that I have to be recognized as an expert for the consulting services that I provide. How do I do that without meeting every single prospect? The simple answer is blogging. I have a series of blogs that I write and share with the public. Blogging is an easy activity and enjoyable for me. I write a few short paragraphs on a topic that I think will be interesting for my audience. I will add a blog to my businessinsightcanada.ca website to share my thoughts. The great thing about a blog topic is that I can accumulate thoughts for an in-depth research later, which can then become the topic for a newsletter or booklet. My intention for my blogs is to share ideas and increase interest in my topic. If there's enough interest, I can then find a way to market my services through that blog topic. For the more advanced users, you can even create enough interest in a blog to allow you to sell advertising and materials. I'm not yet that ambitious. I am still focusing on providing enough content to draw attention to my services. Search engine optimization is an often neglected topic. I won't go into specifics as it is highly technical and requires more experience than I have. The short answer is that search engine optimization focuses on building a website or other online presence with the intention of making it easily searched by search engines. For example, there are experts that will make your website Google-friendly so that potential clients can find you easily. If you want to explore this further, I suggest that you find someone that you can work with and that you ask for references. If they can't show you a client that has jumped in the search standings, they won't do much for you except lighten your wallet. If you aren't interested in social media and online marketing, you may be interested in more personal solutions. We are in a profession that requires an ability to build trust and rapport. I've been told on numerous occasions that I am extremely good at this. In fact, I generally convert 80 to 90% of my prospects into clients, ignoring those that I disengage because I do not feel that they are the right fit for my firm and my staff. My challenge has been that my sales cycle is a bit longer than I would like. Traditionally, I would have a minimum of 2 or 3 meetings with a prospect before they turned into a fee-paying client. I wanted to speed up this process and ensure that I was meeting only people who would be a good fit for my firm. I discovered Sandler sales training in my search for solutions to speed and effectiveness in sales. I can't recommend Sandler in all instances, as I have an exceptional local franchisee and he practices what he preaches. As with anything, individual results may vary. What I have come to like about the Sandler approach is the fact that it is a true system and there are measurable outcomes. Working with Sandler, I've been able to reduce my sales cycle to 1 to 2 meetings. 2 meetings are reserved for large prospects that need additional information. RAN1 provides a great sales system written specifically for professional services called Sell Without Selling. I've been through this training program as well and really found it to suit my personal style. I do not believe in a hard sell approach. Rather, I like to educate prospects and allow them to determine if they want to work with me. This particular program combines a workbook and an audio program that you can work through on your own timeline. A good customer relationship management program is really the intersection between marketing and client conversion. You should be able to track leads and prospects, monitor conversion rates, and consistently quote fees to increase margins. I've been experimenting with Zoho, Asana, and I Will Help. All have unique features, so I've not committed to one as of yet. Zoho does a reasonable impersonation of Salesforce.com at a fraction of the overall cost. I particularly like Zoho because it has a lot of add-ons that can provide more functionality. My favorite add-in includes accounting, project management, and task tracking. There are a lot of standalone products that can easily exceed Zoho's offerings. However, Zoho really offers a lot for the price point. In fact, there's a free option if you have 3 or fewer users. Asana is a lightweight tool that provides a CRM option. Their main focus is task tracking. I recommend this particular tool for tracking workflow if you do not wish to invest in a larger scale solution. Asana allows you to actively promote online collaboration with clients and staff. I'm including I Will Help because it offers a novel approach to the traditional CRM. I Will Help ties charitable giving with client interaction, creating a new perspective on corporate giving. The concept is simple. Instead of sending out mass emails that may or may not be welcome, you invite your contacts to assign a gift to the charity of their choice. As the initiator, you determine the size of the donation to be made on the behalf of your contact. You receive a receipt for your marketing cost. This is an excellent tool to stay in touch with your clients and encourage charitable giving. I've used this product and I know that it generates a great deal of goodwill if someone can donate to a charity that means something to them specifically. I encourage you to visit the site and consider this in lieu of the standard corporate Christmas card. For roughly the same cost, you can build goodwill and make the world a better place.